I'm Tilo Nadler, a German, but I have been living in Vietnam for over 13 years. I would like to tell you the story of one of the world's rarest primates, which was on the verge of extinction, but now has a good chance of surviving. It is the Delacour langur, a species found exclusively in rugged limestone cliffs in the north of Vietnam. The species is listed as critically endangered and is one of the world's 25 most endangered primate species. And we followed the idea of reverse the rat even before this concept was born. My report will give an overview of the history of the species since its discovery, the current status and future concepts to ensure the conservation of the species. The story starts with two skins of a previously unknown primate species acquired by local hunters in northern Vietnam in 1930 during an expedition by the French zoologist Jean Delacour. It was not until 1987, more than 50 years later, that there was the first report on the observation of living animals from the Cuc Phuong National Park in northern Vietnam. I made a film report about this sensational discovery for German TV during a stay in Cuc Phuong National Park in 1991-92. The report is entitled The Great Treasure of Cuc Phuong with the subtitle Can the Last Delacour's Langur Still Be Saved? During the shooting, I saw the great problems that existed for the continued existence of the species. Hunting pressure was extremely high. The animals were mostly hunted to prepare traditional medicine, cook it to monkey palm, or used as tonic and alcohol. Animals were also hunted for trophies. A project plan to protect the species was endorsed by the Frankfurt Zoological Society. I moved from Germany to Vietnam and started the Vietnam Primate Conservation Project in Cuc Phuong National Park in January 1993. The Delacour langur has a very limited distribution area in the north of Vietnam. In the 1990s, the area of isolated occurrence was around 900 square kilometers and has now shrunk to around 100 square kilometers. During numerous surveys carried out in the 1990s, 19 isolated populations were discovered, totaling around 300 individuals. At that time, some of the areas did not yet have protected status. During 10 years, more than 300 individuals have been hunted, accounting for about 50% of the whole population of the species. The sharp drop in numbers in 1996 was not due to better protection, but to the collapse of a number of populations. Until around 2010, there was a dramatic loss of populations. Populations have also been wiped out in protected areas, and only 4 populations exist today. The dramatic loss of populations led to the implementation of an intensive conservation program for the known largest population in Van Long area, with about 45 to 50 individuals. In 2001, we finally achieved nature reserve status for the area. To ensure the protection of the area, we established a community-based protection unit with 13 local people from the surrounding communes. This community patrol unit was responsible for the protection of the area in cooperation with the official rangers. The members were trained in the use of the SMART program, an internet and computer-based program, to register influences on the area and to take appropriate measures against them. Already in 1993, I established the Endangered Primate Rescue Center in Cuc Phuong National Park to provide the possibility for housing of confiscated, highly endangered primates. It was the first animal rescue center in whole of Indochina. With intensified ranger work, the number of confiscated primates grew rapidly and provided the opportunity to establish captive breeding programs. Over a period of 20 years, 20 Delacour langurs were born in the center. The reintroduction of captive-born individuals into the wild is intended to support the decimated and wild population and increase the genetic variability. The animals were equipped with radio collars to enable monitoring over a period of 1 year after release. A temporary cage was built in the nature reserve to acclimatize the animals to the environment. In 2011 and 2012, 5 individuals were released into Van Long Nature Reserve. This was the world's first managed project to release captive-born leaf-eating primates into the wild. For a year after the release, the activity and movement of the animals was recorded daily with radio tracking without directly disturbing the animals. The data collected from the daily tracking provided detailed information about the behavior of the animals and the use of the habitat. The strict protection of the area and the reintroduction of captive-born individuals led to a quadrupling of the population over a period of about 20 years. Together with Belgian biologist Dr. Wenda Lienert and my wife Yen, we founded the NGO Three Monkeys Wildlife Conservancy in 2020. The focus of the conservation work is, of course, still the Delacour langurs. Using advanced drone technology with thermal imaging cameras, we carried out surveys in the remaining Delacour langur populations. The results are the basis for further conservation activities. The current total population of the species in the 4 remaining populations comprises 320 to 350 individuals. A strategy has been developed for the long-term conservation of the species, and now the challenge is to implement it. The main points are securing habitats and protecting existing populations, establishment of a further viable population in an optimal habitat, create connections between populations, and establishment of one UNESCO biosphere reserve. A threat for the largest population in Van Long Nature Reserve is a road construction that has already begun up to the border of the reserve. This would lead to a fragmentation of the population. With an intensive campaign, it was possible to change the concept of road construction and push through the construction of 2 green bridges. The green bridges will not only prevent fragmentation of the Delacour langur population, but also for many other species. We are also in discussion with authorities to expand the Van Long Nature Reserve. Another strategy is the establishment of a population in an area where the Delacour langurs was wiped out about 20 years ago. The area is an UNESCO World Heritage Site and is well protected. As a first action in 2020, we transferred 3 captive-born individuals from the Endangered Primate Rescue Center to this island in the area. In the 4 years that followed, 3 young were born in the natural habitat. It is a very long way to build up a new population, but there is now hope of success. A corridor will connect the 2 largest populations in the future. There exist already 11 UNESCO biosphere reserves in Vietnam, but none for the limestone formations with a unique biodiversity. The Delacour langur should be an umbrella species here. We believe that these activities will increase the number of Delacour langurs and secure the future of the species.